Ron Atchison for AutoForge.net. I've got my good friend Yvan LaCroix in the shop today. And Yvan is going to go through the steps to finishing with a rotary polisher. He's going to break it down, simplify it so that anybody can pick up a rotary and have a swirl-free, perfect finish on their car. So.
Exactly. A lot of people are afraid of the rotary. And when we started detailing, we didn't have DAs. We just had the rotary. So we had to learn it.
Yeah, that's all there was.
And today's rotaries and today's pads make it a lot easier. So we're starting with a waffle pad. Very key when finishing with a rotary. A waffle pad is going to help. If you have a flat pad, you're going to have swirls.
And what determines that? What makes that different?
So a waffle pad, first of all, actually has better contact with the surface than a flat pad because it's rare that we have a flat vehicle. The other thing is the waffle keeps the surface cooler. The cooler the temperature, the better it's going to cut and the better it's going to finish.
All right.
And we always start with a damp pad. So we have our pad washer here. We have the McKee's polishing pad powder in here.
And how much of this did you put in there?
1 scoop.
1 scoop.
Yeah. So our pad is clean. I'm going to put the machine up to speed 6 and just to dry the pad.
So in a situation, Yvan, where a person doesn't have a pad washer like this to get their pad wet, what's a method that they can use?
Use your rinseless wash, dunk the pad in the rinseless wash, put it back in the machine, spin it out in a bucket so you're not spraying water everywhere, and you're good to go.
In the rinseless wash, you use that at just the normal rinseless wash?
256 to 1, standard dilution ratio.
All right.
Then from there, we're going to be using the gold standard polish. So we have to apply the polish. And, you know, the traditional way is 3 or 4 drops on the pad or putting a line on the car and then picking up the line with the polisher. Great trick, but you're using a lot of polish for no reason whatsoever, and you have a risk of sling. If you don't get that 2 to 10 o'clock in the right angle on the pad, you have polish everywhere.
Looks great at the trade show.
Yeah, exactly. Great trade show trick, but I'm going to show you a better trick. We're going to have our pad just slightly spinning. And 1 spray of the gold polish, very close to the pad, and as quick and as fast as you can on the trigger. 1 spray of the trigger, and now we have polish spread over the whole pad.
Okay, nice.
That way we have no dry buffing, we have no dry spots on the pad. And since this is a YouTube video, I have the cord over the shoulder. No, you should always have the cord over your shoulder no matter what. From here, speed 1. So
lowest speed your machine will go.
As far as I'm concerned, this should be a 2-speed machine. Speed 1 for working, speed 6 for drying the pad. Other than that, I have no use for the other speeds. I'm going to be using the trigger lock. Now, if you're not using the trigger lock, you're basically locking your wrist and your elbow, and it makes it difficult to control the machine. Whereas if you use your trigger lock, you can hold the machine just with a couple fingers.
Well, it also adds to fatigue throughout the car, too.
Exactly. So you can see the machine's really, really difficult to hold on to. I'm using 2 fingers. I can use 3, 4 if I want to, but 2 is all you need. So moving slowly, no pressure on the machine, keeping the pad flat, and we'll have a perfect finish every time. Now, you've probably seen the people doing this. Great for their back, great for their posture. They're going to have a bad back by the time they're done the car. At our age, we try to take care of our back a little better.
Yeah.
So stand up straight. You don't need to smell the polish, even though it smells great. But you don't need to be down there smelling the polish. A couple other mistakes that people do is putting the pad on an angle. Again, you're using less polish on the or less pad on the surface.
Right.
Therefore, there's a more chance of having swirls, and you're applying pressure. No pressure whatsoever. And with the rotary, it's a very simple machine to use. Now, if you do get a little crooked, the machine will tell you. Let me show you. So if you lift up, it wants to go one way. If you go down, it wants to go the other way. But just by keeping it flat, again, the less you hold on to the machine, the better it is. The gold standard has a really long working time.
So about how large of an area should you work on?
No wider than your shoulders. And when I'm teaching people that have never picked up a polisher before, this is what I tell them. That's the size of area you need to use. Size of a microfiber towel. It's a good size, works out well. For us, that's about what I did here.
Right.
And then removing the polish residue, very simple.
Looks perfect.
Yeah, and then we have a nice glossy, swirl-free finish.
Well, the thing to remember about this step,
Yes.
all of the paint correction and everything has been done.
Exactly.
You're just really amplifying your work
Yep.
with this step. So if you've got defects and that type of thing in the paint, you're not ready for this step yet.
No, exactly. This is a jeweling step. That's the best way of looking at it. You're just getting the ultimate in gloss. And for those of you that like finishing with a DA, great machine. DA is great for finishing, but sometimes you can get what's called micro-marring.
Right.
Now, micro-marring, before the DAs came out, we didn't know what that word was. It didn't exist in our vocabulary because a rotary doesn't do micro-marring.
Well,
a DA does.
There wasn't the internet and YouTube with
No.
all fancy slangs out there.
Exactly.
So.
Great. If you have any questions, comments, thoughts, or ideas, check out autoforge.net. We're happy to help. See you later.